Hello again. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've uploaded a YouTube video, and so I wanted to jump in, share something that I've learned recently, and tell you a little bit about what's going on. So we just finished season 2 of the Break the Twitch podcast, a weekly podcast that we're publishing on the new YouTube channel just called Break the Twitch Podcast. I'll put a link to the podcast in the description of this video. If you haven't checked it out yet, it features great interviews with a diverse range of people, all about minimalism, habits, and creativity, the same 3 topics from this channel. So with that being done, I'm ready to refocus on the main channel here and get back to making videos like this, shorter form stuff that will share things I learn and ideas. And there's something we've been going through recently, something we've decided actually in the last maybe 2 months, which has put a major change into our lives. We have decided to sell our house here in Minneapolis and, at least for the time being, move down to Phoenix. That means that we are actually going to sell our home and just about everything in it. I'll obviously be keeping my camera gear, the stuff that I use for work, computers, maybe a desk or 2. But outside of that, including this couch, that chair, all the other furniture we've had, it's all going to be getting sold. We've done a lot of the work so far, but we have more ahead of us, obviously. And as we've been going through this process, preparing to show our house, tidying things up further, and going through the process of decluttering even more, I've realized a few things, and I wanted to share those with you. So one of the things I wanted to reflect back is the real world experience that decluttering and minimalism has helped us with. Realistically, it's a very stressful thing to think about selling a place that you've been in for 6 years. But because of the work that we've been doing during this time, specifically the last 4 to 5 years of slowly and methodically decluttering, keeping a very sort of minimalist mentality about our lives, that has made it much less stressful, much easier. In fact, our realtor came through the house and walked through and said, "Oh, I see you really don't have that much work to do before the showings need to start, before people come and start looking at the house," which was something that was really nice to hear. And I can honestly dedicate 100% of the responsibility for that fact to our pursuits in minimalism, of not collecting a bunch of stuff, of not stacking the garage full of stuff. So that's been really huge. And as we approach the listing date, things have settled. Things are not as stressful as they might be otherwise. So that's been one of the major benefits of the work we've done. Obviously, there's always going to be more work to do to prepare for this kind of thing, but in general, it has definitely reduced the stress. And it has also made the decision easier and less stressful to make this major life move at this point in our lives. Secondly is by far the most effective decluttering thing that I've ever tried. And that is, if you want to get rid of individual clutter, so little things, books or clothing or different things like that, start out by getting rid of the thing that clutter exists in, and then you'll be forced to deal with all this stuff. You'll either find other places to put it, or you will get rid of the stuff that doesn't fit. Sometimes you just have to take that leap and sort of burn the bridge behind you so that you can't go back. If you really feel like you need to make a change, that's probably a really good way to do it. We used to have these wine towers right over here that held bottles of wine, which we didn't really drink all that often, and then glasses, and it looked kind of nice on the left and right of our entertainment system over here, but it was just holding stuff that we didn't really need anymore, and it felt like such a big thing to get rid of. But now that we're prepping to sell the house, we got rid of them, and I look at the living room and it looks so much nicer now. At least to me, it feels so much more open. There's a lot of things to consider with this, but if you're struggling to make progress and you're holding on to something that you don't feel like you need anymore, definitely getting rid of that thing, like the bigger container or the bigger piece of furniture that all that stuff is stored in, makes it easier to get rid of the individual things as well. The third thing I realized, especially around the idea of motivations and what keeps us motivated to pursue minimalism, is that the reason we're selling our house, the reason we're getting rid of almost everything we own at this point, is not so that we can be more minimalist. We don't have a goal of being more minimalist than we already are. In fact, the idea of being a minimalist is a term that I think is pretty broad and can mean just about anything to anyone that wants to define it. In fact, a lot of people have told me that I'm not a real minimalist, that kind of thing. Realistically, we're doing this and pursuing a deeper level of minimalism, I guess, by owning less and less and less stuff because it serves our other goals in life. Owning less stuff right now and not having this house here in Minneapolis will allow us to pursue other things that we are excited for. And that flexibility is priceless. The ability to let go of the stuff that we don't need anymore, and our needs obviously are changing now more than they ever have, is something that I think will be really beneficial. But I want to be very, very explicit in saying that the reason we're doing this is not so that we can be more minimalist. We are pursuing a deeper level or extent of minimalism so that we can be the other things that we want to be and do the other things that we want to do, which is creating more YouTube videos and hosting more people on the podcast and doing all kinds of stuff that hopefully being in a different location will help us with. We don't know for sure. It's obviously impossible to know exactly what will happen with any of this stuff, but I just wanted to share where we're headed, what we're doing, why things have been a little more quiet on the channel recently as we finish the podcast, and also do all this work to prep our house and get ready for this next stage. But we're both very excited for it, and I'm excited to share more with you. I'll be answering some questions that you've had on the channel here in the next several videos. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to Break the Twitch here on YouTube, but also check out the inspirational quotes, videos, and things we share on Instagram as well. It's really easy to get to. It's just @BreakTheTwitch. We'll see you soon.